Here are some of the coolest traditions in college basketball. First up, we got Midnight Madness. This serves as the official kickoff of college basketball season. This is just an absolute party. All kinds of fun stuff going on here. You get to meet the teams. You got slam dunk contests, three-point contests, and even some scrimmages. This is a fun time. Next up, we've got cutting down the nets. This is just a really unique tradition. A lot of times you hear players and coaches say things like, oh, we want to cut down the nets at the end of the season. It's a good symbolism because usually it means you won a championship of some sort. And I think the coolest part about this is each coach and player gets to keep a piece of the net. Now we got Champ Week. This is always one of my favorite weeks of the year. It's the week of all the conference tournaments. So many high quality games, buzzer beaters, thrillers, lots of school spirit. I love this week. One shining moment, which is played at the end of every NCAA tournament. Now the song is a little bit corny, but it's just a great way to commemorate the college basketball season. The St. Joseph Hawks mascot, he flaps his wings all game, every single game, and he's been doing this since 1956. You have to imagine that would get very tiring, but it's a great tradition. Next up, possibly the craziest tradition, the tents set up at Duke before big games, especially UNC. K-ville is packed full of tents no matter the weather. They actually have a ton of rules they have to follow. You can find them online if you want to learn more, but this is a really cool idea. Next up is the Maryland flag drop. During a media timeout in the second half, their entire student section becomes covered with their state flag. This is just a good way to show some school spirit, and it also looks pretty cool too. And finally, we have Kansas's chant, Rock Chalk Jayhawk. They do it at the beginning and end of every game, and it's just awesome to hear. I personally have only ever seen it on TV, but it looks like it would be even better in person because of how it echoes throughout their stadium. It's a really cool tradition. Next up is Silent Night at Taylor University. Easily one of the coolest traditions in all of basketball. The fans remain completely silent until the 10th point is scored, and then it's just absolute mayhem. They storm the court and go crazy. Now we have Florida's pregame light show. Just an awesome thing where they have a bunch of projections on the court just to get the fans hyped up, and it looks really cool.
For us, it's just like a heat check. Heat check on guys' energy and intensity before the game, so we know who we got to get right so we can go out and compete at a high level.
The one fly, we all fly thing is just another show of, if one guy does something, we're all going to do something. It just shows how close we are and how much we love each other.
On senior night at Michigan State, the seniors will kiss the center court logo. Just a really cool way to show how much they love their school and their program. Next up, gotta have this one in here, West Virginia singing Country Roads after games. The song obviously means a lot to the state, and it can be pretty epic after a big win. Got Pitt's student section. They hold up newspapers during the other team's starting lineups, which is a pretty common thing for student sections. But what makes Pitt so unique is after the starting lineups, they tear all the newspapers up, and once Pitt makes their first basket, they throw it all in the air as confetti. Another ACC school, Wake Forest, their mascot rides out on the court pregame on a motorcycle, just kind of revs the engine a little bit and gets the fans hyped up and ready to go for the game. And finally, we have what is known as the greatest timeout in the history of college basketball. This is done at Indiana at the under 8 timeout in the second half, and basically the band and cheerleaders just put on a big show for the fans. It's a pretty epic sight.